rolling.
Hey people, good morning. It is the day after my birthday. Thank you to people who sent me gifts and called me for my birthday yesterday. Number 71. I feel great. I love what I do. God bless America. I have pulled a few items from the Coin World and Numismatic News, because not everybody gets these publications. So I figured I would pull a couple of articles that other people don't have access to so we can show them. This article is about people who stole $15 million in American gold eagles. 4,000 eagles. I give them credit for ingenuity. They were at some depository. They had credentials to get in, and they handed over 4,000 ounces of gold. Now, 4,000 ounces of gold probably fits, what is that, 100, probably fits in 2 ammunition boxes. Here they are. Those are the lowlifes, or the thieves, or whatever you want to call them. If you know them, there's a $50,000 reward. They had false identifications, and they drove away with it. $15 million in gold. And I don't know at what price point. Gold is still moving. It bounces a little bit. It's been going up. It's been going down. I still say silver is going to be 45 by Christmas. Gold is going to be a little slower. I think gold will be 35. I don't know if it's going to make 36 this year. Next year, maybe 4,000. I pulled other articles I thought were interesting. This is important. This is a point I want to make, and I know when I read that DeSantis signed legislation to make gold and silver bullion legal tender in Florida, that doesn't go into effect till next July. But this is in effect now, from what this says. When you're buying from secondhand dealers or pawn shops, be warned, they're not supposed to tax you on that 1, 2, 5 ounces of silver you sell them. It says right in here. Yeah. Previous minimum purchase mandate erased by new legislation. If you decide to buy 2 ounces of silver, if you decide to buy 2 ounces of silver, if you're buying, $80 worth of silver, you don't have to pay $5 in taxes. It's taxes. And another thing I've had people come in and tell me, they go to these auctions around here, especially in this neighborhood, and there's always coins at these auctions. There is no tax on U.S. coinage. Forget it being bullion coins, but if you buy a maple leaf, a silver eagle, whatever you buy, now there's no tax. So let's say they have auctions there, and in the course of 5 hours or 3 hours of auctions, they sell $4,000 worth of coins. Well, they've collected, what, $260 in taxes? Who are you paying that to, buddy? There's no tax on U.S. coinage. There's no tax on bullion under 500. Or foreign coins, for that matter, under 500. So long as there's silver and gold base. So this is a big heads up. This is important. It's less paperwork for us, and less taxes we have to collect from you and pay on.
And also on that, guys, just also check your own state laws, too. Make sure you know
Yeah, well, this is Florida.
Yeah.
Other states are not as open-minded or patriotic as this state. And it was something I had mentioned before that was in another article. My wife ran into it yesterday, I think. Forgot what she was buying. They wouldn't take cash. She had to use a credit card to buy something. She wouldn't take. What are we kidding? We cannot use U.S. currency in the United States or in these states of America. I mean, it's just like we were at the coin. When you do the fun show, you've got all these vendors in the coin show at the fun show. They should be mandated to take money. You don't trust your employees, get new employees. What can I tell you? But they don't take money. You buy a hot dog, a hero, some Chinese, whatever you're buying there, you have to use credit cards at a coin show of U.S. but U.S. currency. Coin of the realm. Good for all bills and all debt. Private and public. It bothers me when you go somewhere. I've had where I was away. I forgot where I was. It might have been in Colorado. I don't know. But I was buying iced tea. And the guy says, we don't take cash. I said, keep your iced tea then. How come you don't take money? That bothers me, if you didn't notice. I just think that that's baloney. It's an interesting set of foreign. The emperors, I've told you before. Now, this is an interesting group of jumping around. These are gold emperors. There's the famous 12 emperors of Rome. There's something like 90 emperors of Rome, give or take. There's about 1,000 different issues of Rome. But these are the famous ones mostly. You've got Nero, you got Caesar, Augustus, you got Nero, and you've got what's his name? The crazy one. My mind just went blank. Caligula, good old Caligula. There was a psycho. Too much inbreeding. I don't know. But these are big money. I'll bet the Caligula is multiple. Well, it's going to be at auction. It probably is going to go for $20,000. Just, I think, really interesting. I have a couple of pieces of Roman gold. I have Byzantine gold. They're very far and few between. We've shown foreign coins here, and ancient coins, and I have pages of silver ancients and plenty of bronze ancients, but the gold ones are far and few between. Here's something interesting too. Keegan's has a unique. They bought a $100,000 gold certificate. I don't know if you saw recently. One of these guys is on Shark Tank. He bought into two basketball players. There were two bars for basketball players. And they're signed, whatever they may be, Kobe, and I don't remember the other. Like $12 or $13 million it sold for. You bought pieces of it, and you got a return, almost like Bitcoin in a way. Well, this is to buy the only $100,000 bill you can get your hands on. The $100,000 bill was made for transactions between banks and the federal government. Like if they owed you $100,000, you could send a couple of these instead of barrels of money. But it was never made for circulation. But this is a $100,000 bill. I've seen a sheet of them canceled at the, I believe it was an ANA convention. It might have been in Denver years ago. But this is one you buy a piece of, and you see where it's going to go. But I thought that was interesting. Now, what I have here is basically errors and fake errors. I've seen my share. I had a person in 2 days ago. He brought me 10 silver dollars. 7 of those silver dollars, or 5 of them were Carson Cities, but 7 of them were counterfeits. 7 out of 10. 5 Carson Cities. I spotted them quick. We weighed them. They weighed between 21 and 24 grams. Silver dollars weighed 26.7. These were uncirculated looking and new, so they should weigh 26.7. Not 27 or 28, and certainly not 20 or 23. So I said, what did you pay for these? He said, $35 a piece. Well, nobody's giving away Carson City unks for $35. You should be suspicious. That's a red flag. These are not real. Well, I hope you get your money back, but if you bought them months ago, I don't know how that rule works. I don't know how you're going to prove that coin was a part of that deal 2 months ago. Good luck, but you're not buying Carson Cities. I mean, nobody's selling $20 gold pieces for $50 on the internet, or even $1,000. I mean, it just isn't happening. These are errors. This is a legitimate error where 2 coins were joined together, or these you're not going to counterfeit. These are pretty good. This is a cool error. I think I've had something like that one. That's an interesting error. And here you have one learning experience counterfeit, where somebody's going to take a coin, and I've seen this, where they'll take a penny, and they'll put another penny on top of it, and they'll put a piece of metal on it, or they'll hit it with a hammer. Wham! And they're transferring the images of one coin into the other one. It doesn't work like that. First of all, these are backwards. That means that something was put on top. It would have to be in the same direction if this was a multi-strike, because the stamper would still be printing in English, something you can read, not backwards. Like, you know, if you're dyslexic, I guess it'd be normal to you, but not in these cases. Beware of that kind of hustle. I believe, here we go. I bought this yesterday as part of a collection. No, that's not it. What did I do with it? I got an 11-cent piece. A dime on one side, and I wonder if I threw the dime in with the others. Oh, here it is. That's what I got. A dime on one side, a penny on the other. An 11-cent piece. Usually they take the penny and a jeweler will, you know, Dremel it out. Then you take a dime, put a drop of super glue, contact cement, you stick it in there. And it'll fit inside the dime. So here you have an 11-cent piece. I get these from time to time. These are cool. I sell these for like 10, 12 bucks. But that covers most of the education that I found that I thought would be interesting to people. But I want to point out again, the bullion is a big deal for us. You got people having to pay if you decide to buy 10 ounces of silver and it's $400, and we're supposed to charge a tax on that. Not anymore. I talk people into paying over buy 500. It's not worth the hassle to us. But because his theory, and it's true, you have to have silver and gold for the average person. Not everybody can just buy, you know, a roll of silver eagles or silver rounds. There's people that just can't afford that. They only can put away 1 ounce of silver a month. They shouldn't be discounted from being allowed to put away silver and gold because they don't have the money to also cover a tax on it. And because now in Florida, you can buy it without tax. When they come in, just be careful when you're in, you know, pawn shops, especially I know the auction houses. They charge tax on things. I've asked people. And check for yourselves. I don't see how that's legal. How are you charging a tax you're not paying to anybody? There's no tax on U.S. currency in Florida. And now there's no tax on under $500. On bullion also. If it says $9.99, if it says, you know, silver or gold, if it's a fraction of gold, like if you have a gram of gold, especially grains, but if you have a gram of gold, if you have a 10th ounce Canadian gold coin, you're supposed to have gotten taxed. Not anymore, no tax. You know, you're paying $350, you shouldn't have to pay another $22 or whatever it is in taxes. It's not there anymore. Just beware in Florida. I'm not speaking for all states, but Florida is where I am, and that's where it is. There's some other stuff we're going to cover. Here's a couple of things I picked up recently. I thought this was pretty cool. That's 100 grams of silver.
Those are the break apart ones.
Yep. These are half-ounce snaps. They come in all different sizes. Canby is famous for these. These have premiums. This has 2 pieces that have fallen back. Here's another one. There's 10 here. This is the same 100 grams as this, but these are 10s. These are 10 grams. These are 1/4 ounce or half ounce. What are these? These are half ounce. So this is 100 grams is 3.2 ounces of silver, 3.2 ounces of silver. This is, well, 2 ounces of silver. So these are for sale, but we thought we'd show them. Here's something else I picked up this week. Actually, the kids got it. I wasn't here. This is pretty cool stuff. This is the 1948 mint set. I didn't realize the mintage was so low. I know these sets used to be like $2,500. The 47 is the first mint set you can get by the government. The 47 and up. The 47 and the 49 were the most expensive. They used to be like $2,700. This set used to be like $2,200. Now we looked them up, and here's the reason. Look at Mintage. 5,000. 5,000 in 1947, 49. How many kids in the 50s took these sets, or they got them and said they were born in 49? In 1957 or 1955, they grabbed the quarters or the dimes out, and they went and bought candy, or they bought a comic book. Out of 5,000, how many exist?
Now, for reference, this is a complete set, guys.
This is all there are.
They never made quarters from the San Francisco Mint that year. That's why you have the 2 blanks.
Yeah, there's no S quarters. There's actually, these are double sets. You've got 2 Ps, 2 Ds. No, they made of San Francisco.
Yeah.
They didn't make San Francisco quarter.
quarters.
They made the plains and they made the Ds, and you got 2 of everything. Here you have 2 of everything that they minted. They didn't mint a quarter that year in San Francisco. But this is a complete set, original packaging, a little pencil on the front that just says 1949 PDNS, uncirculated. These sell for above gray sheet, just so you know. You'd have to call, we can talk about it. Gray sheet is at 1,000. These sell for more than gray sheet. And we can talk. But I just thought I'd show you that. Here's another one. Now this is how the mint sets came out. Originally, proof sets used to come in boxes like this. I've seen some that were blue. Those I think were back in the 30s and the 40s. But when they made proof sets up until 1942, then they discontinued and they started making the proof sets again after the war. And in 1950, they started making proof sets again, and they put them in these brown boxes. You want them stapled together. This is a 54 set. I have another 54 set. This one is pretty. Look at the color on this. This is original. This is what they look like. Original box. These go for more money than your average proof set. Because sometimes, I have seen these where you could see the cameo come through the plastic. These don't think are cameo. Definitely toned. And don't let anybody tell you it's artificial. I mean, this is original packaging. Sometimes these staples are rusted, but it just means that this was put away safely in the tissue paper and all. Getting back to mint sets, and when you look at the numbers there, just to give you an idea, the disparity between 5,000 made and the number they go for. Here's your 1963 mint sets. There's 40 in here. 1963 mint sets. These are P's and D's. Now these uncirculated. You know, you're going to pay 20 a piece for any uncirculated halves, retail. These are $60 a piece. I have 40 of these, but the mintage in 63 was 600,000. 600,000 compared to 5,000. 5,000 is nothing. I got to believe there's less than 1,000 out there. I got to believe a lot of them were ripped open. You know, you got them as a birthday gift. You opened them up when you were 5, 7, 10, or you got it for Christmas in 49, and you were already 12 years old. And by the time you're 16, you're taking a date to the movies. Bang. For half a dollar, you both went to the movies. That's why they have so much premium. I didn't realize they were that low. I may keep that. I think that's pretty cool then. But these still have the value. And as you can see, 63s I have the most of, but I have plenty of other mint sets. The 63s we have a lot of. You're buying uncirculated coins, you know, sealed. And I have 40 63s, and I've sold a lot. This is one of those ones where you had quite a few. Now, when you start getting into the 70s, 2 million, 4 million, they change. honestly. For most, unless you need them to put them in one of your penny books, your quarter books, $half books, whatever. For most cases, they're only change. Yeah, issue price in 49 was $5.45. $5.45. You've got 170, 182. That's 364, 64, 80. You got like 490. They sold them for melt. No, 49, 50 cents over face value. Basically 50 cents over face value. I mean, even $1 over face. How do you make money? Yeah, face value, $4.96, and they sold them for $5.45. Wow, these guys were working on pretty tight numbers. Anyway, as I said, those are that's what you need to know and what we have in as far as these are available. We'll talk about that. It's been a good week. It was a good birthday. As again, thanks to everybody who sent me something. I was here. I was working. That's who I am. And then we all went out to dinner. And it was a good day. Anything else you have to ask, Nate?
No, we covered it all.
Okay. Everything is humming along. We may do another video Friday. We'll see. But, we had a great whatnot. Thank you all. We had 60 items. We went right through them, not a single pass. I hope everybody's happy. We had fun. We had a good day. And we will be doing that again. God bless America, greatest country in the world. Have a great day. Thank you. Happy Labor Day. Bye-bye.